Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello and welcome to Apex Racing TV and the Radical Racing Challenge Friday night strength of field split. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick, alongside me is Johan Callahan. Sam Kume is operating the cameras for this, our 3rd broadcast of Season 1 2022 of this official series championship. Johan, once again, fantastic to be back in Interlagos for this round of the championship. Long straight, a fairly wide circuit, also of course there's some technical sections as well. Overtaking should be very possible, I imagine, and we should see some trains of drivers taking advantage of that slipstream effect.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's I've been looking forward to this track for so long. It's one of my absolute favorites. I'm not exactly sure if the other drivers might share my feelings about this, but yes, you are correct. There is definitely a chance for overtaking. I believe there might be some tactics around the overtakes that happen on the main straight, since the thing is so long. And then of course, if you're able to gap your opponents in the rest of the circuit where you've got all of the twists and turns, that is going to serve you quite well once you've executed on that overtake into turn 1, and you're able to just take that pressure off for the next run down the straight. So it's going to be interesting. There might be some tactics at play, but of course, for us to do well, I think you need a bit of outright speed on the circuit. The cars are quite strong or fast, but I think because the draft is still a effect with these cars, it is going to make for a rather interesting and perhaps and hopefully a bit of an unusual race.
Yes, we like to see something a little bit out of the ordinary, but nothing out of the ordinary at the top of the standings. Aaron Bubba with pole position now. That is his first pole position in months in this series. However, he has always been very near the front. Second place last time at Okayama. He is on pole this time. Studnicka, who took pole in both the first 2 races so far this season, he lines up in second place, and the drivers who are still out on circuit all will not be able to improve because the drivers only get 2 lap times. So there's just a couple of drivers who haven't set times. Kyriakopoulos was one of them, but he puts it up to 10th place. That's a very strong qualifying for the Swiss driver, who usually qualifies a bit further down and then moves his way up. We're also waiting for Nicolas Sorini and Dylan Freckleton to cross the line. They are the only 2 drivers. Also Lucas Vieira, the car number 5, so watch out for Vieira moving up. Sorini storms up the car number 19, really pushing above his seeding right there and moving up into 4th position. That is an excellent effort from him. Vieira, that's only his first lap, puts him into 15th place. He should have enough time to complete a second lap, and of course in these cars the second lap always way faster than the first lap, so expect something like a 4 or 5 tenths of a second advantage this second time round as we head down into turn 4 of this track. You can see the fantastic skyline in the distance being located, of course, near Sao Paulo, this circuit. We are trying to cut the line as much as possible, trying to expend as little energy as possible running around this circuit as it gets into this really slow speed track. I really like how I kind of don't want this circuit to be updated, honestly, because the curbs, Johan, are so iconic. I think they've changed them a bit, but these big old curves, you can really tackle them on the in the Radical, and often there can be a little bit of extra grip available if you do run over them.
Speaking of the curbs, right here at corner number 12, I think if you can't really go that far outside of the curve, it's really difficult to nail the rest of the straight. So I definitely agree. It's a bit of a nostalgic thing. I really like how the track feels at the moment. I normally don't really give too much attention to how good the track looks. But yeah, sorry, I wouldn't interrupt myself. So we're done with qualifying, and things are looking good for the gentleman out in front. Why don't you run us through it?
Yes, Baba, who I did say earlier on got P2 last time at Okayama. Well, that was in qualifying. He did take the lead immediately and stormed to a dominant race victory. So he's on pole position, dangerous stuff for the other drivers. Studnicka continuing his great form in second place. Then it's Scott Callahan in third. Lucas Vieira with that very late improvement moves up to fourth. Then it's Nicolas Sorini, Greg Seitz, who of course is was the runner-up last season in the Broadcast Championship. Tommy Vittens lines up in seventh. There's Condelis, Aldridge and Medema. Thompson, Kyriakopoulos round out the top 12. Then it's Putaklis, Robert Woodward, Stephen Westerhoff, Dylan Freckleton, Fabio Birchtold, Josh Ladd, who's the seed number 4, so very strong iRacing for Ladd, but he is quite far down the order. Then it's Rafael Blanco, Alia Dincha Vatesi. Apologies, Ilya, we will get that better. I should have prepared. Andre Correa Martins is the car number 3. Over 6k iRacing is Martins, and hopefully he figures out how to drive this car as the race goes on. I wonder if he's a bit inexperienced in it, perhaps. Tom Valkic is the last driver on the grid. Another new driver, so good to see a few around as we've just got 2 more drivers to get onto the grid. We've just got Sorini, who of course set that very late time earlier on, as we see the strength of field for this race, 4.6k, which is particularly strong, missing a couple of regulars perhaps, but they've very much been replaced by some extremely high iRated drivers. Great to see so many guys invested in this, and you can see Sorini a bit out of place there, maybe the car number 19, as all the drivers are now onto the grid and the lights are about to come on here at Interlagos for what should be 25 minutes of racing. Barber from the pole position, and away we launch here at Interlagos. Great start for Barber. He should have the lead heading into turn 1, trying to take the racing line. Will Studnicka dive up the inside? He's not late enough on the brakes to do so. Vieira versus Callahan. Vieira getting ahead in that little fight. The countryman having a very good launch off the line. Callahan drops down to 4th position. Medema gets him past Aldridge, but very few changes in the top 10 so far as the chase heading into turn 4 begins. Bit of side-by-side between Vitsens and Sites, who is threatening to drop down a place right now. If Sitesby has the inside line, he stays ahead as Vitsens in fact has a little bit of opposite lock on those cold tyres and has to run wide. He rejoins the circuit after dropping 4 or 5 positions. They head into the second sector. This is where you'd expect the drivers to have to start to thin out slightly, get into single file as the order starts to settle.
Yeah, this is definitely not a track that I want to do on cold tyres. Almost going 3 wide into turn number 4. There must have been a very, very scary moment there for Kindlers. You could see him backing out. But the track, the driver's kind of settling down a little bit on the track there. Ooh, almost 4 wide there. And contact, that I'm not going to be, that's car number 21. Unfortunately, some trouble for him. And he is going to be right at the back of the pack. Birchtold now making his way through corner number 12 onto the main straight. And he is going to be looking at the rear of Freckleton for that turn number 1 through the inner center S's. But I don't think any action yet. It's just a little bit too tricky with those cold tyres. And yeah, some action a bit further down the field, but we'll see what happens. Kunda's making a move here on Medema. Medema trying to keep a hold of the place, doing so successfully. And they are going to be charging down towards corner number 4.
Yeah, and this is effective Kundalis a little bit, and this is inviting others to get involved. We're riding on board with Tommy Vitsens, who's got a fantastic view of all this, trying to go for a move himself. Kundalis is going to lose out. Can Vitsens make up a position as well? He's trying to go alongside Kieran Coppolis at the moment, but yeah, just ahead was Aldridge, gets him ahead of Kundalis, who has already dropped 1 place from his start. Vitsens having to go a long way here around turn 5 and 6. Varying lines he can take around this part of the track. He tries to get the up and under, and that is what he does, but still Kieran Coppolis carrying enough speed to hold on to that 10th place. But around each of these corners you can go for a dive, and because Vitsens will just go up to the inside. There was a little bit of a block there. You can see there was contact between the two of them, maybe netco, but there was certainly damage on the back of Kieran Coppolis' car that will affect him for the rest of the late race, and Vitsens does move up into 10th place, but it was very hard fought and has lost him a bit of time. Oh, Aldridge off the circuit. He's gone wide, it seems, way wide, and he'll drop nearly to the back of the order.
That's also a very difficult part to go off on the track. It's completely off camber. It's once you go off the hill, you just go off for days. But that's some very clever racing there from Wittens. Definitely a trick that I'm going to carry there from turn number 8. But there is some action here for Freckleton. Moving up towards the inside, and there's contact. That is Aldridge out of that position. He's going to fall to the back of the pack possibly, and he's not going to be happy with that. This was not a good lap for him.
Yeah, I think this was contact with Ladd. I wasn't sure who was going to make contact. You can see Freckleton diving up the inside there. Oh, it could have been more neck. I think that was neck. I don't think Ladd actually made contact with him. Was it Ladd? Or maybe it was someone else. Yeah, not 100% sure on that one, but yeah, spinning round. Huge shame as this is Serini versus Medema. Medema's had a nonsense start. He's up 3 places from his race start, is Anne. And let's see if the car number 8 can make this move around the outside. It was a long way to go considering that Medema was behind heading into the corner. Now into Jung Chao. And of course, if anything, you want to be behind at this point, get the toe, and that is what Medema is trying to do. Kundalis is also catching up to these guys significantly, and could well be in play heading into the next lap.
Yeah, definitely, but Medema very well positioned here for a possible overtake. We'll see what he does. He tries to go towards the outside, has the overlap, so now this is going to all be done on the brakes. Serini sitting on the inside. It looks like he's got the better line, some wheel spin there, and that has completely held up Medema. And the big winner there, Kundalis, stealing 2 places there, so he's probably going to be extremely happy with that, how that went. But hats off to Medema. He unfortunately lost a few positions, but he kept the car away from the other car and definitely avoided contact there.
It's just been a 3-way spin in the background. Let's see how this battle concludes, because Kundalis sprinting away. Serini was the other one who was looking like he was going to win out. 3 wide, heading into turn 6. Can they pull it off? They sure can. The car number 8 storming through, but runs wide, and the 19 will come back. 8 is wide. Medema drops down, and it's Sorini who does move up into 7th place. Wittens now makes contact. That was with Martins, who was gaining places after a poor qualifying. Wittens ran, fortunately not too much damage, but it puts him right at the, or off the back of that pack of cars that he was involved in before. Now I believe there was a spin for Josh Ladd through turn 3 at the start of this lap. I wonder if we can get a replay of that, because we just saw it in the background. 3 cars spinning in almost the exact same time it looked like, and I think this is going to explain what happened. That who's already been in the walls. You can see the 10 going across the curb. He spins. The 15 gets involved, so the car he was cutting across the grass was Thompson, and that caused Westerhoff to spin along with Josh Ladd.
It's an unusually high level of contact in this race. We haven't seen this in, let's say, the past 5 races at the very least. I'm not sure if it's the track itself that's kind of catching all of the drivers off their guard. I know the slow speed corners can be very tricky in this radical, so it can just be that they're trying to battle very hard through some of the corners, and that limit is just something so easy to push over. Vieira doing very well here to keep in 3rd position, and he's just got Studnicka a little bit up the road from him, and Aaron Barber quite close to the rest of the pack at the moment. Oh, and that is Birchtroll, and Freckleton seems to have had a bit of contact there. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but Freckleton coming up worse there. Yeah, just cars all over the place, Sam.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And well, I wonder if there was maybe a bit of an over-ambitious move there, and like we so often see, and more contacts being made. So we kind of got that lead pack for about 4 car sites, trying to keep tabs, but I think he is, well, to be fair, Sites was the fastest man on track on 2 laps ago on that last time, and he did lose a little bit of time. You can see that at the top of the screen a bit, at the top 5-8 evening match. Then you've got Kundler a bit by himself, because Sorini and Medema just keep on fighting. Martins now very much in this one, the car number 3. Martins with a 28.2 on that last time out, faster than the 3 cars in front of him. Albeit, of course, tricky to tell what his pace is when he's slightly in traffic. Got a bit of a tow as well. Here comes Medema with a tow for herself, but off the circuit goes the Benelux driver, and that is another off for another driver. Putziklis benefits along with Woodward, Sorini and Kyriakopoulos. Medema gets back onto circuit. Bit of damage on the back of the car number 8. I wonder if we get a replay of that one, maybe even an onboard from the point of view of Martins perhaps on that one, because yeah, that contact sending Medema off and losing 4 places.
From my perspective, it looked a bit like a poorly timed switchback. I mean, it's very difficult. We've got our replay, so let's just keep an eye here. So here we've got Martins. We're going to have Medema pulled along. Oh wait, sorry, that's from behind. So there you see Medema going to the inside, and then the switchback just not working out there. It's so Medema, unfortunately, I don't think really did anything wrong there.
Apologies, by the way, for not immediately mentioning that Sorini also spun. But Sorini down into 10th position now himself, so he also lost out to Martins, Kyriakopoulos and Woodward. So bad news for the 19, although it wasn't quite as bad as for Medema. So many incidents so far. It means that Martins is up 14 places, albeit that is mainly on pace. 10 seconds off the lead after starting in 21st position is very, very impressive there from Martins, the car number 3. Kind of delivering on that pace. I thought he'd kind of be learning the car as we got along, but it seems to have absolutely cracked it now. As we tune in on Studnicka, that gap gradually increasing. Well, actually, on that last lap, it went down a bit. Actually, sector 3, though, on this lap, lost 0.2. That's quite a big margin for these guys, considering that they've been staying extremely close so far. That gap pretty much as big as it has been for the entire race.
Yeah, I mean, you have to consider this is a relatively short lap. It's not near the 60 seconds mark, but I mean, 90 seconds, it's still a fairly short lap in my books. So definitely quite a bit of lost time there for Studnicka. He is going to get some pressure from Vieira at some point. Vieira not close enough to really make a difference at the moment, but I think Studnicka is painfully aware of that car behind him. And you can see there the time differences, 128.295 and 127.907. So advantage to Vieira. We'll see if he can keep it up for the following lap. Aaron Barber just kind of relaxing out the front, not relaxing too much, but I think he's quite happy that he's not in the chaos of the middle of the pack at the moment.
Yeah, and that last lap for Studnicka wasn't too bad. But seemingly just one mistake, and it's kind of changed the feeling at least of this race to me. To lose 3/10, he was kind of 3/10 slower than not just Barber, but also Vieira, Callahan, and Seitz as well. And it just shows the high level that these drivers are operating at on track, when just a small mistake like that can be so costly for them. I wonder if we could see a replay of Ilya, the car number 21, spinning on lap 1. I think we saw a bit of it, but we didn't see a particularly good sight of it. Just whilst we maybe got a slight break in the race, you could see kind of this little bit of an incident that we had back on lap 1. Lots of switching back, 3 wide. It was actually the car number 20 who kind of ignited that bit of contact, and then kind of involved other drivers. So really it was maybe Tom Valchik who initially made a bit of contact and spun around, as we got Thompson and Ladd. Have they collided? I think they were battling. Ladd down to 19th place.
This just hasn't been the race for Ladd. I think he might be struggling with the car a little bit. Just looking there, the rear of that car looking extremely lively. Ooh, and that's on it. It might be a little bit of damage, but shame that Thompson unfortunately getting caught up in all of that. As I said, it might be a bit of damage on Ladd's car, but it's just been so difficult for him at the moment, Sam.
Yeah, and once you overheat those tyres as well, it's usually quite warm here at Interlagos. It is quite an early time of day, so I don't think the track temperature is quite as bad, but this is probably the warmest track, I think, probably the closest track to the equator. I'm not quite sure. I'm maybe not the one to say that, but it's certainly very warm. It's basically what I'm saying here at Interlagos. So it can be tricky for the drivers out on track. As Vieira all of a sudden falling into the clutches of Callahan. So Studnicka made a mistake a couple of laps ago. Vieira must have made a mistake on this lap. Was it just, yeah, it was just generally quite slow there for Vieira. No particularly bad sectors, but you can see on that last time he lost 3/10 to pretty much everyone once again, going into that kind of 28-3 range. And yeah, he just lost sort of a 10th in sector 2, 10th in sector 3, half a 10th in sector 4, and a 10th in sector 5. So he needs to get back up close to Studnicka, get that draft effect, and that should fend off Callahan a bit. A couple of good corners there. He has at least got a little bit of respite from the Austria.
Yeah, this is definitely not the position he wants to be in. Callahan kind of realizing that there is an opportunity, and you can just see him pushing nice and hard. Vieira using as much of the curb as he did. You can see the rear of the car is very, very loose. I'm not sure whether he's trying to push too hard and he's overdriving the car, and whether he has a bit of a heating problem with his tires. But he's definitely, he doesn't have that rear as much in control as he would like it to be. So let's see into corner number 12. Let's see what kind of exit he gets. It looks fairly solid. I can't really see that much of a closing speed between the two of them. I think he might have just lessened that draft effect from Callahan. So a little bit of respite there for him, but not too much.
Yeah, I see that Callahan maybe got a bit unsettled over that curve. Now the car oscillating quite a bit, and that seemed to compromise his exit, as also Valchik just got ahead of Vittens. So good work there from the car number 20. Vittens has just got back, so that's the basketball 16th place here. Here are the two drivers. I think both been in the horse a bit. Vittens certainly has had at least one spin, and then Valchik, as we saw a couple of minutes ago, maybe the causer of the lap 1 incident we had in Sector 2. But Vitson's, at least for now, is the one who comes out on top. But well, he cannot get it done because that is a bit of a compromised run coming out of the Senioreses. Get right to the inside of the track. It can be very tricky to actually go around the outside here at turn 4, even though it seems like it would be quite possible. Certainly on that occasion, it was not possible for Palchuk. So Vitson's now in 16th place. And a quick shout out to SDK Gaming, the provider of our timing and also our overlay, which you see up on screen. It's really useful for displaying all kinds of different information. Got lots of different graphics on it as well. And of course, the live timing really does help us commentators keep up to date with everything that's going on. It's also got some fantastic camera sync technology, where one user can control the cameras on a different iRacing simulator of another user. It's really cool stuff, and of course you can also use it as a heads-up display as well. So do check out sdk-game.co.uk to get yourself a subscription. As you see, Robert Woodward catch up to Arturus, apologies, to catch up to Dennis Career Companies.
So many surnames that start with a K in this field, so I completely understand your confusion there. Kiriakopoulos kind of, he's been a bit quiet for me during this race, kind of just sticking in the middle of the pack. But he's shown himself to be quite a solid driver when the time comes. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does in this last few laps. Normally, this is the point where if you have a bit left in the tank, you can really start pushing. Although I do think most of the drivers have been pushing very, very hard while driving. I'm just looking at some of the logs here. I'm seeing quite a few off tracks for some of the drivers. I'm seeing Studnika, Aaron Baba, and just to the viewers, this is kind of where they just go a little bit too wide. But it could be that some of the drivers are really trying to push the limits to the absolute furthest that they can. So some of the drivers may be looking for a bit more of an edge here in the end of the race. As Callahan now looking to defend here from sides. Sides up on the inside. Is he going to get the move done into the center? Is this side by side? Callahan currently has the outside of the line, has to give the position to the sides. And there they go through turn number 3. Advantage to sides, but we've got the straight coming up. So Callahan still might be able to fight back here as he falls behind sides. Are we going to see a jinx towards the inside? No, and he just decides to stick behind sides and continue onwards.
Yeah, excellent work there from Greg. So it's a little bit of contact between the two of them through turn 1, and you're absolutely right, Callahan deciding to just back out of any attempted move into foresight, running slightly wide. There's just a poor qualifying in the end for Sights, which has really cost him in this race. He used to say he couldn't have maybe fought for the race win, as a mistake there from Callahan, losing control of the car, and well, maybe the tyres are starting to hurt a little bit, and Sights seems to be keeping up his pace. Could he maybe catch up to Vieira by the end of the race? Potentially. We'll have to wait and see. Shout out to another one of our sponsors, Virtual Racing School. Virtual Racing School with 50+ data packs on their service. And those data packs including lots of useful stuff such as setups, track guides, their data analysis software, and you can also get one-on-one coaching as well, including for this Radical SR8 machine for all the official series rounds. So do make sure to check out virtualracingschool.com in order to get yourself a subscription for that. There's also a link to them and all of our other sponsors in the description below. Robert Woodward still on the tail of, well, of course, now he is behind Serini after being overtaken by Serini. But Serini himself on the charge onto Kiriakopoulos, who would do very well to hang on to P8 considering the quality of drivers behind him.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky when you know that the drivers behind you just have that level of performance. Although I must say though, I do expect him to really absorb that pressure a little bit. And I've kind of grown a bit accustomed to his driving as we've seen it over the last season, basically. But Serini is definitely making himself known here, right on the back end of Kirikopoulos there, and trying to position him for that corner 12 exit onto the main straight. So we'll see what he's able to do here, whether he gets a good exit or not. Bit of a wonky entry there. He's done well to keep the line consistent, and now it is a bit of a draft train going up down, through the main straight. So let's see if there's enough closing speed between them, but it doesn't look like it's at the moment. So we'll see if Serini has any opportunity whatsoever, but it would be a bit of a far stretch. Although he does dive up the inside, that is Serini getting his Verstappen on, and he's made the move through the center. It says Kirikopoulos is now at risk of Woodward and Puticus behind him, so he has to watch out. You can see Woodward there positioning himself towards the inside. Puticus deciding who he wants to bet on, who he wants to follow, and that is almost through wide through corner number 4, and Puticus taking the outside line and possibly winning out towards Woodward. He's got the inside line for the next corner, so he is going to get that racing line for himself and take the position.
Yeah, what a fantastic move there for Serini. He was certainly in range, and well, I'm sure he would say that Kirikopoulos could have left him some more space on the inside. I certainly don't think Dennis can complain about the contact that was made, but yeah, at least did very well to hold off Puticus and Woodward right there. And we've just got 2 more laps to go after this one for these drivers, and Kirikopoulos not going to be getting really any drop from Serini, now 9/10 of a second back. How good is his exit? It's not bad, but it's not great either, and Puticus is going to have a great chance. It seemed like the closing speed for Serini last time was really big. We know that Kirikopoulos has got damage on the back of that car, maybe increasing his drag coefficient. As here comes the attack from Puticus, decides to go to the outside even when the inside was open. He feels confident that he can wrap it round the outside through 1, get the inside for 2, and that is exactly what he has done. Really good work there from the Latvian driver, but he is still under pressure. And here is Woodward. This is the place where he lost a position on the last lap. This time he's trying to gain 1 place, maybe even gain 2 places. Can he get past Kirikopoulos? Kirikopoulos squeezes him to the inside, carries good speed, and holds on to 10th place. But 2 have already got past him, and 1 more will be eager to get past with a lap and a half remaining.
There's some close racing by both definitions of the word. Studnicka here with Vieira tantalizingly close behind him, but definitely looks like he could possibly still keep a hold of the, well, he will definitely try to keep a hold of the position, but that is 5/10 between them, now down to 4, and we'll see what Vieira is able to do here. So they've got some back markers, the back marker staying out of the way for him. They don't want to get involved in this battle, and Studnicka now slightly looking his rearview mirrors at the moment, but definitely no risk from Vieira at the moment. But there you can see 2/10, well, a bit less than 2/10 to the advantage of Vieira. So Vieira definitely pushing to get to the rear of Studnicka there, but it's all going to come down to this last lap.
Unfortunately, sorts of run out of places to overtake from here, unless he can kind of get within about 1/4 of a second. He's not going to be able to go into any dives, no big braking areas from here on in on the lap. So Studnicka should just need to keep it clean, and he will get home fine. You can see Barber only just ahead of them, but it's never really looked like Studnicka's had an opportunity to overtake, was able to stay within a second. But while as Vieira almost spinning around, can Sights take advantage of this? Sights has been catching up to these guys for a few laps, and Vieira is still offline. There could be a chase to the line for the final step on the podium. What is the exit like from turn 12? You can see Sights really trying to open up Jung Cha. He'll pick up a 1x for that, but he does not care one bit, and this will be really close to the line. Aaron Bubba is going to take a 2nd consecutive race win here at Interlagos. It's been a fantastic drive, wins by 1.5 seconds. Who is going to get 3rd place? It looks like it's going to be Vieira. Sights did not have the pace after all, must have had some damage maybe on that car. I'm sure 1 more lap he would have fancied his chances, but the car number 1 has to settle for 4th position. Putziklis actually being caught right at the end by Kyriakopoulos, but Kyriakopoulos hasn't got the drag, and Woodward will be a little bit disappointed he wasn't able to do more than 11th place in the end. And look at this battle as well, almost contact, there's a bit of movement as well. Westerhoff beating Wittens there. I believe the 2 Dutch drivers really fighting hard in those closing stages. It's Westerhoff who has the upper hand in the end. As we see our race winner, another week, another race win, Johan for Aaron Barber, and well, it wasn't as dominant this time, but it looks fairly comfortable again. I mean, it's odd to say that when the gap was less than a second and a half throughout, but like I was saying earlier, there was never a moment where it looked like Studnicka had the pace to overtake.
Yeah, I think Studnicka had a lot more trouble from the drivers behind him, so Vieira kind of keeping him honest through the entirety of the race. But I must say though, probably one of the drivers that had the most stressful last lap is going to be Lucas Vieira. Those last few corners must have just been absolutely stressful. Sides definitely giving it his absolute all to see if he can get that position, but unfortunately just didn't have the pace to close that gap.
Final shout out to Apex Racing Academy, our last sponsor. 29 data packs on Apex Racing Academy, and those data packs including setups, track guides. It's also integrated with Virtual Racing School as well, and you can also take part in weekly group coaching sessions which can be really useful for learning a track and getting some tips from some fantastic pro level drivers. So do check out Apex Racing AC in order to get yourself a bronze, silver or gold membership. All of us guys here at Apex Racing TV have a subscription. We thoroughly recommend it. There's your final results, 1.5 seconds between Barber and Studnicka. Vieira getting a podium at his home race. He looked really quick out there tonight. Sights, honestly, I think Sights may have been the fastest guy out here, but unfortunately he qualified P6, dropped down to 7th straight away off the start. And so to finish 2.8 seconds off the lead, making a couple of moves, it kind of shows how quick he was, but he just wasn't in the right place. Callahan was in 5th, then it was Condelis, Martins, Sorini, Putziklis, Kyriakopoulos rounding out the top 10. And then it was Woodward, Medema. After a very action-packed race there, Piran. Freckleton was in 13th, Birchtold, Westerhoff, Wittens, Valchik, Ilya, Thompson, Blanco, Ladd and Aldrich rounding out the field. The bottom 4 not finishing. Ilya, I think, got damage on lap 1, but must have fixed it, and good effort from him there to go back out onto circuit after contact that early on in the race. So hopefully we'll get some interviews with drivers, but at the moment we do not, unfortunately. So I will have a look at what the next round of the championship is in store for us, with of course still plenty of this 2022 season 1 remaining. We are next going to head to Motorsports, Johan, which is a fantastic driver circuit. I think it's a really dare I say terrible race circuit. It is tricky to overtake, and it's not you don't necessarily think it's going to be impossible to overtake around Motorsport, but once you get there it is, and so I think that could be the most important qualifying of the season.
I definitely agree. Motorsport for me is again one of my favorite tracks, but in this case you're right, it's the perfect hot lapping track. It's the sequence of corners that you get through that track, especially that first sector into that double right-hander, kind of a hairpin. There's a lot to love about that track. Unfortunately, as you said, it is very difficult to overtake. Lots of corners where there just isn't space. I do believe some of these drivers are going to make space for themselves, but that qualifying is going to be very, very important. So Studnicka has shown himself a very capable qualifier, if I'm remembering correctly. It's going to be interesting if Sight is going to join us for the next round to see what he's able to deliver on a good day. And then, of course, Aaron Barber, the man to beat. So we'll see what happens with qualifying, but the drivers still need to be very consistent around that lap. If you make a mistake through that double right-hander, you're onto the back straight, and if you lose pace, you're putting yourself in a very vulnerable position.
You're absolutely right about Stanika being a strong qualifier so far this season. Of course, pole position twice and also a second place so far this season. I'm also just looking at the official series points, and he's at the top of that as well. So Stanika probably extending that lead after tonight's results, as we have got Aldous Puterklis joining us in the commentary box now. Congratulations, Aldous, out there. Fantastic to have you in the box. You were in a fair few battles out there. It looked like today, ending up in 9th position. Particularly that battle, I think, with Serini and Kyrikopoulos was pretty action-packed.
Yeah, kinda disappointing start. I guess pumped in the back, and so I was last, and so I was going through the field, and for me the race was just too short, to come further, because I think I was faster than Kyrikopoulos and Siri as well, or whatever his name was, but yeah, just not enough laps to recover.
Yeah, it was certainly a very strong comeback nonetheless. How did you find Interlagos? Because it's been a few months since we last visited this track. I know it divides opinion a bit, but did you have some enjoyment at it?
Personally, I love it. So the race actually, despite the start, was fun race. So I like overtaking. So that bit was fun, and the race here is brilliant. The hardest bit for me personally was the turn 1 braking point. It was so easy to lock up and lose time. The rest of the track was just pure blast.
Yeah, I certainly understand that braking point. Are you able to use the brake markers on the right side of the track as a bit of a guide, or kind of do you just look at the apex and kind of judge where to brake from that?
Yeah, I kind of use them, and I use them for the start of the braking, but you have to then come off the brake pedal slightly and then find a way not to lock up while doing it and while slightly turning it already, so it's a tricky one there. It seems like a straightforward, but it is not.
And next up we have got Motorsports on the calendar. What's your thoughts on that track?
I love that one as well. It's just, I'm a bit afraid because I have raced there with old Pro Mazda a lot, and there was those landmines. I'm not sure how this car handles it. If everything is fine, then the track is blast as well.
Yeah, you're right. There are a few kind of nasty bumps around there, aren't there? So yeah, hopefully this car deals with it all well. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Aldous?
I'll give a shout out to you guys for doing it and for basically the community. It's a brilliant community. It's so fun to race with these guys week in, week out. And to my team, Kinetic Racing.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Aldous. And we hope to see you up in the top 10 once again next week.
Thank you guys. Next week.
Aldous Puterklis there, finishing in 9th position tonight. And I'd partially forgotten, honestly, that the fact that he dropped to the back, but yeah, was very strong, making his way back through the order, only 20 seconds off the lead, which was very impressive. Johan, I think we have another driver we can chat with.
So it's definitely someone that I would love to have a chat with. So welcome, Lucas. And I must say, how stressful was that last lap for you? You just kept it together there at the end of the lap.
Oh yeah, that was a little bit nervous. I'm just glad that I came back to the track without any incident, because I was pushing so hard to get to the Studnica and almost blow up. So, but happy with P3 at the end.
Yeah, we definitely saw you kind of pushing Studnica on quite a few occasions. And well, firstly, I just have to say congratulations on the 3rd place. You definitely fought well for it, and that 2nd place also just sitting so close within your reach. But difficult race. How is Interlagos as a track for you? Is it a track that you enjoy, or do you find it a little bit tricky to overtake?
Yeah, we'll be racing the entire week here, and I have a lot of races with Aaron and Greg, and it's really hard to overtake because once you want ahead, even when you have the draft, it's like you have a place to overtake, but at the same time you have a lot of place to block the guy behind, so it's really hard to overtake him. My goal was to qualify the best I could to be up front, and I have a little problems because my game is suddenly frozen until when you start to do from warm-up to quality session, and I have to close and then restart all over, and I was just afraid that I didn't have time to do the 2 laps, and when I actually did, I didn't warm up the tires the right amount, and I have just when I crossed the line, finished the session, so that it was a better quality lap. But it's really fun to race, it's really hard to overtake, but when you have the double toe, it's almost impossible to overtake here. I mean, every track in the radicals is almost impossible when you have the double toe.
Definitely agree with you. It's and also with kind of the opposition that you've got, you all are very closely matched. So I can only imagine how difficult that is. I unfortunately have a bit of bad news for you. So next track on the calendar is going to be Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, or better known as Motorsports. What are your thoughts about that track? Are you going to put a lot of practice into your qualifying, or is it a track that you're maybe not too fond of?
I did race a few times in the past season, and for sure it's a draft track, and I'm not familiar with the place to overtake. I did have to practice a little bit more, but it's a fun track. I don't know about if it would be fun to have like fights, battles against on the track, but I look for it.
Awesome stuff. And then from your side, any supporters that you want to say thanks to, or any people that's family or friends watching that you want to say thanks to?
For my family, of course, and for all the places, all the people that are watching. For you guys, of course, that did an amazing job. And yeah, thanks for you guys, especially for this amazing job you're doing.
Thank you so much, Lucas. And again, massive congrats on the 3rd place finish. And good luck for your preparations for the next race. We're looking forward to seeing you back on the track.
Yeah, cheers, bye. Thanks.
That is Luke.
Apologies, Johan, you go ahead.
Yeah, that is Lucas Vieira, everyone. So yeah, Sam, we're done with our racing here with the Radicals, but we still have some racing happening here on Apex Racing TV. Anything you kind of want to share with us a little bit?
Yes. Well, we earlier on had the Wave Italy Prototype Championship, Apex Racing League Prototype Championship, which looked to be very good fun at Red Bull Ring. In the next few days, we've got the F3 Championship, the ARA F3 Super Series tomorrow. Then followed straight after that is the Formula 3.5 Championship. We've also got Spec Racing Forward Weekend Warriors on Sunday, IGP Fun on Sunday. We've got the return of the Sim Racers World IMSA Winter Series on Tuesday. We've got Apex Racing League GT3 Pro Trophy on Tuesday as well. Also Ray Esports Mazda Series, I think on Wednesday. Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship. We've got Tire Rack Road to Indy E-Series as well on next week. Lots of stuff on Apex Racing TV, so make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like on this video as well, and also check out our social media on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. Of course, we'll be back with you once again next week. But for now, from myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, from Johan Karnes and from Sam Kumo, we are going to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time out at Motorsports. See you then.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.